Hey Mystics, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. I'm back in the rocking chair. Today I'm going to be talking to you about Sun-Pluto conjunction in our synastry. As always, I have my two disclaimers. I apologize if you've been following this series, having to hear these every time, but for the new folks, it's important to mention. The first disclaimer is that when I say soulmate, I mean whatever word you use for those deeply impactful relationships. Some people use soulmate, twin flame, karmic partner, destined partner, the one, whatever word you use. I'm not debating what these things are and the difference between them because there's a lot of different ideas out there. My other disclaimer is when it comes to synastry and reading these charts, trying to decipher them, it's really important that we don't get into a can't see the forest for the trees situation. I've used a lot of analogies to describe what this is, and it seems like one of the best ones is to think of your synastry chart as a garden, and each aspect is a flower or plant in that garden, where some of the plants and flowers are more noticeable than others. You see their color more vibrantly, their fragrance is more intoxicating, but you really want to look at the whole garden before you start saying this is a rose garden when there's really only one rose bush. Does that make sense? So today we're talking about the Sun excuse me, conjunct Pluto. If you saw my video on Sun conjunct North Node, I mentioned that the Sun in astrology represents the filter our soul shines itself through in this life. It's our personality, our ego, and really our planetary core, if that makes sense. Pluto. Pluto is ruler of the 8th house. And the 8th house is ruled by Scorpio. Is this the house of sex, death, taxes, transformation, shared resources? But deeper than that, Pluto is responsible for revealing things that we don't necessarily want to see. He's the great transformer. He's the god of the underworld. In Greek mythology, he was Hades. And in synastry, Pluto is responsible for quite a large amount of obsession. So let's take a look at the chart, and I'll tell you a little bit more about how this feels for each person. So let's take a look at the chart and see what this looks like. Okay. So here we have this Pluto-Sun conjunction. The red person's Sun and the blue person's Pluto. Sometimes you'll see Pluto represented as a P, like you see here. Other times you'll see a different symbol, and I will post a picture of that symbol for you now. Okay. So this is a pretty close conjunction. Let's see how close this is. So the red person's Sun is 10 degrees of Libra. The blue person's Pluto is 8 degrees of Libra. So this is a 2-degree conjunction. And that's what we want to see. Because this is not an angle or an axis, we really need to use smaller parameters for the conjunction. Less than 5, really no more than 3. That's just my preference. So in this situation, well, whenever Pluto is involved, you can bet your ass it's karmic. Karmic doesn't necessarily mean bad, though, because if you think about it, how could we possibly not have karma with someone that we have a past life connection to? And the people that impact us the most in life, we no doubt have a past life connection to. So karma, you know, there's kind of this negative connotation to karma in relationships. And really, it's like glue. It's what happens when we have soul contracts with people. Karma just means that one of you owes the other something, and that could be a really sweet something. Maybe both of you owe each other something. So just maybe have a little bit of an open mind when it comes to what kind of karma this could indicate. So the sun person will be endlessly mesmerized by the Pluto person, almost hypnotized. The draw here, the attraction, is quite potent for both people. The Pluto person usually has the upper hand. So ideally, you want the Pluto person to be as emotionally and spiritually mature as possible, because Pluto can, you just want to watch out for any manipulation tactics, anything that feels toxic in any way, no matter how much you're used to that kind of thing. It's not, you want to nip that shit in the bud. And if you are the Pluto person and you notice yourself doing that, you really need to nip that shit in the bud. You cannot have a healthy relationship when you're trying to manipulate your partner. And one of the ways that manipulation can happen in this particular conjunction is the sun person can have a recurring fear of losing their partner, the Pluto person. And if the Pluto person is not of high integrity and they're aware of this, they could potentially use that to manipulate their partner in order to keep the upper hand in a toxic way. Now, that's just one of the negative aspects of a Pluto synastry aspect, but a positive aspect, and there are plenty. There's the attraction, there's sexual compatibility, and really the sun person has the most to gain from this connection, because whatever it is that their soul wants to transform, the Pluto person will assist them with that. Now, that doesn't mean that's going to be comfortable. Transformation is rarely comfortable. But depending on, other parts of the relationship, other ways that they connect, this transformation can be exactly what is needed for even deeper connection between these two people. So there's a mesmerizing quality here, and both people feel it, really. Yes, the Pluto person may have the upper hand, but they're just as in as the sun person. The sun person feels special because of the Pluto person's attention. They might put the Pluto person on a pedestal. And again, if you're the Pluto person, just know the honor that is. Take to heart how vulnerable the other person can potentially be to you, and respect that.
It's an honor, truly. And that's really how you want to feel about this. That's the spiritual and emotional maturity I'm talking about. If you're not in it, if you don't want this relationship, Pluto person, be honest, get out, be kind, don't drag the sun person along with you for shits and giggles or whatever. Really takes a high level of responsibility to handle this type of potent karmic connection. But it draws them together. Yeah. And like I said, this is one of the easier, in my opinion, one of the easier Pluto involved synastry aspects. But Pluto always brings the heat. He always brings that guttural, visceral, passionate intensity. Watch for obsession, watch for manipulation. All right. Let me close this out. So I hope that that was helpful. And if you have any questions, as always, just post them in the comments and I will answer your questions. And as always, again, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing. And I'll see you next time.